Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far after loaded challenges drama going down yesterday with official announcements coming out of the league. Scump has branded it straight up disrespectful the way the CDL is treating the challenger scene and the lack of support that part of the scene is given. Path to Pro, a massively important part of the Call of Duty infrastructure, not getting what it needs over the last couple of years, and this year is arguably worse than ever. Loads of other drama to dive into as well. Very much interested your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Before we get into it, big thanks to Underdog Fancy for supporting today's content. If you guys are looking for a great place to play daily fantasy in all sorts of sports and esports, this is the place to be. Now, last month, of course, when OpTic played their most recent series, they were smashing records out of the park. They played their first series again of the new year today, up against the Vegas Legion. These are some of the potential entries for the OpTic guys. My favourite feature, though, about this platform is the Rivals feature, so effectively head-to-head. Now, these come up a little bit later, these entries, than the other ones, so they should be available by the time you guys are watching these videos, but the basic idea is which player is going to get more kills in a series. So you can pick which one, and if you get it right, then of course you win. Play responsibly if you choose to. If you're in any of these regions, feel free to sign up. All the relevant links will be in the description box below, and then match any deposit you make up to the value of $100. Let's dive straight on into things then, because man, yesterday was hectic. Sib had a few words to say, it's got to be said, after that series against the Minnesota Rocker. They're now 0-4 that Rocker team. New York Subliners continue to look better and better, I would say, with every series they play. Sure, they lost the terminal hardpoint. Just wanted to share, because I didn't share it last night because things were happening quite quickly, the overall numbers for this series. Linz again was the bright point here, Awakening a 0.7. It's not looking good for the boys right now on Rocker, especially when, you know, Awakening was brought in to do the slaying. Linz has been, as I say, like the bright point of the team, and the rest of the guys are arguably dragging him down somewhat. Sib, though, had a 1.6. That final map especially, I think I said yesterday that he tied Dashy's record, but actually Dashy went 23-10, didn't he? I think in that Carolina series. So Sib absolutely smashed the hardpoint KD record with a 2.7 at 27-10. So yeah, pretty exciting start for those guys. They're 4-0 now, Rocker are 0-4, so looking pretty good. Of course, that basically secures them a winner's bracket start, of course, and it arguably secures Rocker a loser's bracket start for the major coming shortly. Seattle Surge might be in a similar spot, depending on how their next series go. They've got some new content coming soon, but it's got to be said, they got slammed last night by Toronto. Are they actually that bad? Are Toronto just pretty good, or was there something else going on? This especially came after the aBeZy single tap to run drama, where Scrappy had basically exposed him for doing so. The question was, what were the repercussions for that circumstance? Ghosty actually reveals this last night on a new episode that the Thieves guys come out with. This is great. I wish every team did this. It can't be that hard, can it? Get your team of 4 to sit down on the couch and just, you know, talk about it. And sure, if you're Ravens and you haven't even got one of your guys in the building, it's difficult to do. But, you know, I would say that of all OpTic's content, the game chat episode is the one that I look forward to the most, which is just you get the team to sit down and talk about stuff for 45 minutes. Thieves are now doing the same. I think it's great content. But Ghosty reveals that after it was exposed that aBeZy had been doing this, the punishment wasn't just a no warm-up, right? Because I think the pros realised that giving Skyz no warm-up for his next series after snaking, right, is how they saw it, that was a first offence, but they felt, the pros felt, that one instance of no warm-up wasn't enough punishment to justify the crime, as it were. So this time they've decided that for, again, a first instance of breaking GA such as aBeZy's, even though this was arguably more egregious in the sense that he quite possibly had this setting on for the entire season so far. I don't know. That's a matter of debate. But still, first offence, breaking GA. The pros decided no warm-up for the series they played yesterday, and also no scrims for a whole week. And maybe they also won't get a warm-up in the next series that Surge play either, which I imagine might also be the case. So basically, they got blacklisted for a whole week. Every pro team agreed to not scrim Surge for a whole week. And Ghosty actually went on to say that if there was a second offence, then, or third offence or something like that, then likely you wouldn't get scrims for an entire major cycle and you'd be completely blacklisted. So sure, challengers players will still scrim you. I imagine that's what Surge have had to do over the last few days. Scrim exclusively, like, you know, FaZe Black and some of the top challenger teams. Maybe even they said no. I don't know. Are they in on the kind of GA agreements as well? Maybe. But yeah, I'm sure they scrimmed somebody, but not the pro teams. And maybe that makes sense why they got kind of slammed in the first matchup they played this weekend. So, you know, interesting way for the pros to actually go about enforcing GAs. Seems a rather effective way as well. And if Skyz was to snake again, second offense, for example, or even if maybe another player on the Subliners was, second offense for the team, then the punishment might be even more severe. So that's the current explanation we have, which I thought was pretty interesting. This also just to share for you guys the coaches' power rankings as of match week 3. These, of course, do look rather different to the way the CDL standings are. I will say I'm kind of surprised by this in the sense that, okay, sure, FaZe number 1, Toronto, New York, OpTic in the A tier. You know, okay, it's obviously controversial. The coaches are going to have their own opinion, but the general belief of the coaches seems to be that no one is really on FaZe's level right now. And then Heretics down here in the B tier, despite being 3-0, haven't lost yet in the league. They have an interesting series today. We'll see in a few minutes' time. Surge alongside them. So, like, Heretics haven't played the best team so far. Then they've got Thieves and Boston down here in the C tier, and then even Rocker in the C tier above Gorillas, Vegas, and Ravens, which is a little bit confusing to me because, as far as I'm concerned, Gorillas are definitely better than Rocker right now. But yeah, tweet your thoughts on that in the comment section below. We'll get on to more of that stuff in a second. Big drama though on the CDL side, as there always is, especially when another announcement comes out, because, you know, how many announcements have the CDL done lately that are actually positive? This is another one from Zuma. So you guys probably remember all the flank drama that went down a while ago when they weren't able to do the flank on Twitch because they weren't allowed to show gameplay. Now, Zuma then resolved that situation and said, okay, well, you know, we actually can do it after discussions with the league, but now Zuma's saying that actually no, they can't. So what's going on with this YouTube deal? What are the agreements? We just don't really know, but actually Ben clarified this and said that it's not necessarily that Zuma cannot use any clips at all, it's that if you do use a clip, it has to be only 2 minutes in length. You can do whatever you want talking about that clip, but you can only use a 2-minute clip. Now, obviously a bit of a grey area, right? Because what if I take a 2-minute clip of the first 2 minutes of a map, I then take a 2-minute clip of the second 2 minutes of the map, and then I do that for the entire series. I'm just using 2 minutes clips, you know what I mean? So, bit of a grey area. And also, why, you know, as this guy says, they're just making it up as they go. Like, are they just making this up? Like, okay, 2 minutes, that's fine. 2 minutes, 1 second, you're getting DMCA. So I don't really know if the CDL know themselves what's going on right now, but one positive actually was that Scump has confirmed they will be attending to Watch Party Major 1 in Boston. This has been a big debate lately, and the flank have said they're definitely not going because from an economic perspective, it doesn't make sense taking all the days off Twitch. My belief is that Scump and potentially Zoom as well, their intention was to say to the league, hey, if you want to fund this, like if the league want to say to Scump, okay, we'll pay your hotels, travel, whatever to get you guys there, then I think they would do it. And if that's not the case, then I don't know if they want to fund that themselves, given that they're losing money anyway, not streaming on Twitch for the few days. So this makes me think that maybe the CDL have funded Scump's travel to go and get there and all this stuff. So, you know, anyway, it's a positive for the scene if this is the case, but a little bit confusing if that's not the case for Zuma, but also the CDL may be putting money in to help these guys out, but not putting money into the challenger side. We'll see that a little bit more so in a second, especially of all of this drama. So I don't really know why JCap was going so hard on this last night, but understandably there was lots of reaction from challenger players to the announcements there would be, you know, less challengers events this upcoming season. And Jacob's point was basically like, look, it's not about being a challengers player, it's about getting into the league. Like, don't settle to just be a top challengers guy and actually try and get into the league itself. Try and be the best version of yourself you can possibly be. So, you know, Jacob says, I'll take the baits here since I kind of did compare those things. What's your end goal as challenger players? I don't know, mate, says Niall. I played at Modern Warfare 2 AM Champs and not a single game was shown to anyone. It's pretty bad. Then get better and get in the league and people would watch you, mate. But I don't really get this argument exactly from Jacob, just because if people don't show challenges, then it's difficult to actually get into the league. Sure, you can make the argument, oh, get better, get undeniable, so you get in, which, okay, maybe fair enough. But I think for the vast majority of players and for the general health and longevity of the scene, that argument doesn't really hold that much water. And yeah, basically his solution is just be in the league, you know? If you don't want to complain about challenger stuff, just be in the league. And even at this, right, when Gravity says, Jacob, I'd like to play against the pros and have some sort of pro-am or something where the amateurs can prove themselves, and Jacob's like, if your end goal is to make it into the league, you won't aim higher. So I don't know why Jacob's cooking all these guys. Not exactly sure why there seems to be some defense to this decision. Of course, Adam aBeZy was coming out with his statements, and he was on the flank as well talking about this and saying that 2 challengers events next year at Boston and Toronto, definitely not enough. But he also says that it's, you know, the requirements to do so in the PC world are so much more difficult. He also said, would you take more Challengers events in exchange for going back to console? And obviously I would take that transition in an absolute heartbeat, no problem at all. But you know, as abaBeZy says, this is how they used to do it. Nowadays it's well, not easy to solve, not cheap to solve. There are various issues. And also I will say, just because Boston and Toronto will be the only Challengers event officially, that's what the league have said, it doesn't mean the other teams aren't potentially trying to make that happen. Like, I have heard rumors that, you know, Ravens and Miami are also considering ways to do it. Whether that means they will, I don't know. But even Arnau here from Heretics says this is not correct. We are also working on a Challengers tournament. So doesn't mean that it's locked in yet. And Toronto have said, yeah, for sure we're going to be doing it. But the league have only announced that these two have been happening. And also just in general, there's been less support this year. The massive delays aren't good for anybody. But it's quite clear, as far as I'm concerned, that the CDL at this point are basically running it down. You can see it with the quality of the broadcast as well, that it just seems like, let's say you're losing a hardpoint game in ranked 200 to like 60 or something. Lots of the time, I'm not like this because I'm still grinding for that dub, baby. But some of your teammates will just decide, all right, it's over. Let's just run it down, play for kills. Basically what it feels like the CDL is doing right now. They know that it's over. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, 2 Challengers events. That is not ideal. Again, at the base of the CDL, you need a foundation to cultivate and develop talent and have a pool where people can see the talent.
This is
not having events.
This is a situation that cares not about its future product. Easily,
I mean, 2 Challengers events. That's
I feel
like,
for him, man.
That's crazy.
Say it.
I mean, it's just disrespectful.
I'm glad you said it.
It's disrespectful to the Challengers. It's disrespectful
to the league itself, to the community. I'm saying the league in terms of us. All right, you guys, us. People have been here since 2006. Okay, if there is no path to pro, it is a program and a product that cares not about the longevity or the future of its players. This is also the league's fault, though. Okay, one of the questions that you should ask when somebody raises their hand to, and this is very important to know. Okay, Miami didn't have to throw an event the way that New York isn't throwing an event, the way that LAG is not throwing an event, the 100 Thieves isn't throwing an event, right? So it's not just on, at least they raised their hand to throw something, right? But also the league should be like, hey, you have to run a Challengers thing because we care about the future and the longevity of the competition of this sport. And if at that point they say it's like, no, we don't got it in there, then the league or Activision themselves have to subsidize that. Every single time that we're watching a league-created product, as this CDL broadcast is, and we see any sort of advertisement for skins that don't have to do with the CDL, that is not right. Okay, period. So if a team tells you, it's like, yo, I'll handle this half if you can help me with this one, they should do it. Period, if they care about the future and longevity of this sport.
So I do think that Scump and X are bang on the money here, right? You do need an actual working path to pro system if you want to make this league make sense. The fact that every single year, within reason, the Challengers infrastructure has got worse and worse doesn't really send the message you want to be sending. And Scump is right that it's not just disrespectful for the Challengers players, but it's also disrespectful for the entire community, the way this is being handled. And as Hex said, it's the point that I made last night, that sure, if a team doesn't have the funds to run the Challenger stuff because it's super expensive to do so, the CDL should be subsidizing that. If, you know, again, if they're going to subsidize Scump and the boys to go to the events and stuff, pay for their travel, I don't know if they are, but let's say they are, they've got the money to do so, right? Activision, you know, they're not struggling for cash over there, right? They definitely could make this work if they really wanted to, and obviously there was lots of talk from abaBeZy as well. I believe abaBeZy, after the whole esports engine getting sold to the Savvy Gaming Group, whatever it exactly is called with ESL and that, there's some sort of non-compete, I think, where abaBeZy can't exactly come back and create his own company for a little while. So I think he will be back doing event production and possibly taking over the league again, but I'm not sure exactly when that will be. I also want to know your guys' thoughts on, do you think the lack and kind of the quality of the Path to Pro system has affected these numbers so far? Or do you think it's probably just about time that we had a relatively weak rookie ladder and candidates? Like, there's still some good players here. Like, I do think that a lot of the players on this list are actually really talented players. So maybe there isn't, they're not probably as talented as the likes of Scrappy and sort of even like Shotzzy or some of the other, HyDra that have come into the league over the last few years, but they are kind of all getting slammed right now. Like the records of the rookies this season is not pretty, even if they might be performing better individually than their records suggest. Don't know if there's anything to do with that as far as you guys are concerned about, like, poor challenger support means that these guys, even if they do get in on bad teams and therefore can't really show what they're capable of. Maybe there's plenty of other players that could have been better but were forced out and never actually played or went to play Warzone or something just because the challenger side isn't really working as well. Would be nice, but obviously we know that I was gonna say not working as intended, but it seems to be kind of working as intended because, well, the league doesn't support it. So what do you think that they want to achieve right now? Anyway, here are the matches for tonight. Big games, I'm not gonna lie. Heretics Surge is massively interesting. Surge have lost their last 3 series in a row now. This would be 4 in a row, and I've got to say, Miami probably going as marginal favourites here. I actually think that on paper the teams aren't too dissimilar strength, but Surge with apparently no warm-up and no scrims this entire week, and Heretics still undefeated. I've got to lean their way. Breach Gorillas, I honestly think toss a coin on this one, because I think Gorillas are kind of legit. I do think Boston should be better, but and they played really well against Toronto in that final series. I don't know if they can replicate that. I'm going to say Breach Game 5. I'm not sure Gorillas. The Gorillas just seem to throw away too many maps as far as I'm concerned. So, but I really think this is a toss-up, really. Ultra should be favoured against Thieves. I actually think this is a hugely important series in the context of LA Thieves this season because it's not been great for them so far. A loser's bracket start is very much on the table. They need to do what Boston did because Boston had a massive must-win series against Ultra and they won it emphatically. Thieves need to do the same, but I don't personally think that they will. And then OpTic Legion, it's really difficult to see any other way here than an OpTic kind of bloodbath, to be honest. Okay, sure, it's possible. Maybe Legion win a map in there, but I don't think that this is going to be particularly competitive. So very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Thanks to Underdog, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.